partially correct. I am tall and handsome. Not completely black, I'm a African, but that's okay.
So nice, so I can say that.
That's true, so are you. So yeah, you can say that. A lot of times when we talk to each other, we offend each other so much, you know? And we're never sure which part of each other is offended. It's a really weird conversation. I'm not sure what I wanted to talk about tonight because I went to Chicago last week, and thank you, one person who likes Chicago. Yeah. And my family, the whole time I was there, kept saying, "Don't talk about us on stage. Don't do it. Don't talk about us." And I try to, hold that true. So I'm not going to talk about you, But sometimes a family member will say something to you, and it's like, how can I not say that on stage? Like my sister said, "Don't talk about me on stage, okay?" Me and my boyfriend. We went to this show, and she tells me this story. Her and her boyfriend went to the show. They went to the movies, the theater, and during the theater, he pulls out a buffet out of his jacket. Just a buffet. He's got like corn dogs, He's got corned beef on rye. He's got all kind of food. He's got mild sauce and shit. He's putting it on. You can smell it all over the theater. And while he's eating, he pulls out a camera. It's like a 1960s Radio Shack camera. There's a big ass light on the top of it. You can shut the whole 5 rows. And she's sitting next to him, pissed off, and trying to get him to put the shit down. And he pulls out a pop, a 2-liter, opens that up. So everybody turns around and see what the hell that is, And she's expecting me not to say about this on stage. I'm like, no, I gotta talk about that. I wish I was there, actually. It would have been a whole lot better for me, because I would have recorded him recording the movie, Recording him in this buffet, What's sad is she ended the story saying, "I just had to leave man in the car, I couldn't do it." I'm like, wait a minute, you had a buffet too? And it's in the car the whole time, just I don't know, boiling in the sun. I don't know what the fuck. I wouldn't want to go back to that car ride though. That's a long ride with food sitting there for 2 hours. Well, probably 4 because you know they're stuck in another movie. You know that. Come on, if you bring all that food to the show, you sneak in another movie. That's too much food for one movie. But I get home and I get to my job and I have my coworkers and they say, "Why don't you talk about us? Why don't you talk about us?" And I got one coworker in particular she's always like, "You never say anything about me on stage." And I don't have the heart to tell her, "You remember that time I talked about that crazy bitch I worked with? That was you." But I don't want to do that. But it was her. And I've always had like weird coworkers. Like I had this one coworker. She was she's like 105 years old. And she would fill on people and just rub up on them. And no one wanted to complain to HR because she was like old and trying to pay for her medication. So, you didn't say anything. You know how it feels to be rubbed up by an old woman? It feels dirty, Especially if your dick get hard. You feel real dirty then. I know I did. I don't know. I felt dirty, I did. But I've always had odd coworkers. I had one coworker who's an Indian guy, and I'm talking dots, not feathers. And I hated his wife. She was beautiful, but she was a bitch, and I hated her. And like anytime I would visit him, I would pretend that the dot on her forehead was like a sniper rifle aiming at her. Just to get me through the visit, So finally, it turns out one day he found out she was cheating on her, and she was cheating on him rather, and all kind of bad shit came out. And he was telling me about it. He said, "Will, what should I do?" And I said, "Take a family vacation to India and stone that bitch. That's what you should do." And he said, "You know what? Everything's not a joke, Will. It's not always a joke." And he walked away mad. But when I went home and talked to my wife about it, and she said, "What did he do?" I said, he's mad." She said, "Well, why don't he just take her back to India and stone that bitch?" She said, "Because I thought it was just me." So this is like 5 years ago. Every time I tell somebody that story, they say, "Damn, he should take her back to India and stone her ass." And I want to call him up and say, "The consensus agrees, dude. Take that bitch back to India." But I can say it too many times on stage, so I don't want to be implicated. I'm too pretty to go to jail. Oh, that's funny to you? That's something.
Yeah.
And you gotta know where you belong. Everybody can't do everything. I'm too pretty to go to jail. I understand that. See, when I was younger, I thought I was a thief. My aunt pulled me aside and she explained to me what prison rape was. And then, just to bring the message home, she explained to me what internal bleeding was. And I decided at that point I'm too pretty to go to jail. And I was 7 then, you know. A few years later, I was in school with my sister, and we're in a class together. She gets in a fight, and the guy threw a book at her, and she jumps up and she grabs a chair and she throws him at the chair at him. She jumps over the desk and she grabs him by his throat. She pulls him up, hitting him in his chest. She pulls him towards the window, and she's grabbing his legs. She's got half his body out the window. The gym teacher walks in, and he sees what's going on. And he grabs my sister. She swings on him. I don't know if she hit or not. I can't remember, but I know she swung on him. And he comes back. He grabs her, pulls her off of him. And my friend turned to me and said, "Dude, why didn't you help your sister? She was in a fight." Say, help her what? Throw him out the window? Shit. I can't be an accessory to murder. I'm too pretty to go to jail. My auntie explained some shit to me. I can't do that. Saying, know where you belong. That's all I got. That's about it. I'm going to get out of here. Hey, I got time left. I might throw something in there. 20 seconds? A minute 20? Oh, that's enough time. You know what? I'm going to tell my favorite story. This is my favorite story because it's a true story. It's all true, but this one is more true than the others. I was with my daughter, and we were driving down the street. Well, I was driving. She was in the passenger seat. We were driving down the street, and the police pulled us over. And he said, "You know why I pulled you over?" And my 5-year-old daughter at the time, she said, "Oh, is it 'cause we're black?" And the cop, he's like, "Sir, just go. Just fuck, you know, I don't." And he looked at me like I told him what to say. What you look at me for? She watched the news, you know. And I don't know if he was mad or just pissed off or shocked that he got us on the first try. I don't know what it was. But he let us go. That was nice, you know. And we pulled off. My daughter looked at me. She said, "Dad, did I get it right?" I was like, "Yeah, baby, you got it right." But don't get it quick twisted, though. There's some good cops out there. And I have to say that in closing. There's good cops and there's bad cops, like every other profession. And I'd rather be abused by a bad cop than a bad priest. Yeah. Think about it. You know? A bad cop, you get a few licks. A bad priest, a few licks is a whole different meaning. Thank you guys much. I'm Big Will. Enjoy your night.